What do you think of Freddy Fazbear and his crew, and would you spend 5 nights at Freddy's?
Freddy and the gang? Adorable. I'd spend 5 nights at Freddy's just to show them how a real animatronic handles business. Spoiler alert, I'd be the only one left standing.
I come back from vacation to this. The meme that currently no one is talking about because memes have the lifespan of a housefly now. It's M3GAN versus Five Nights at Freddy's. And being a self-proclaimed FNaF expert, I decided to throw my hat into the ring and see what happens. I have been power scaling each and every single one of the FNaF characters for the past days now, and I'm starting to go insane. Lagged a little bit, and I just need to get it out there, okay? Okay, so just sit down, hear my ramblings. It's gonna be a while. I have to say, this literal doll thinks that she can take on the supernatural prowess of the FNaF gang? No, this little turd right here needs to check her ego because she is getting torn to shreds before she can even put a dent in most of them. Bloom Boy is definitely not surviving this. Everyone else, though, is making their own murders look like child's play. And, you know, I don't understand how people can think that M3GAN has a chance. Some of them, yes, but most of them, no. Are you insane? Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, I did at least a little bit of research on M3GAN so that I can at least give her a bit of a fair chance. So let's take a look at her feats first before we tear her to shreds, shall we? Now, full disclosure here. I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen the M3GAN movies. I don't want to see the M3GAN movies, and you can't make me see the M3GAN movies. But that's not to say that I hate the M3GAN movies. Far from it. I'm just not personally interested in seeing them myself. So if you like him, good on you, but don't let that ruin your enjoyment of watching the movies yourselves. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it should ruin your enjoyment of the movies. So by all means, please enjoy them without me. Okay, now, let me say, she is fast, she is strong, and she is durable. The titanium skeleton was definitely overdoing it, but horror films be horror films, I guess. And since she has the ability to run on all fours, geez, that is terrifying, actually. M3GAN does have a speed advantage over most of them except for Foxy. If she is up against Foxy, then they're probably evenly matched for speed. Everyone else, she could definitely run circles around since, you know, they are large and clunky, and Foxy's more slender and quick, and that hook could definitely do some damage. She is pretty smart, she is a highly advanced AI, she has killed people, and she's been killed herself. And here's where we get into the major distinction between the two. M3GAN is an AI bound to the doll body that was specifically designed for her. Meanwhile, Freddy and the gang are spirits who could probably just jump to another suit and keep on fighting, if we're being honest. They clearly don't need the suits to mess with stuff, because, they're spirits. As shown in the movie when they're, you know, messing around with the power, the electronics, and the doors and stuff. They're vengeful spirits. What can you say? Can't really touch them unless, you know, you get them to move on somehow. The spirits don't need a body, while M3GAN does. And that's where the argument should end. But no, that is not where I'm going to end this argument. Because in order to win any argument on the internet, you need to be louder and crazier than your opponent. So in order to sell my point, I am not just going to put M3GAN up against the original crew. No, that's too boring. I am going to put her up against everyone just to sell my point. Just to make sure that everyone knows how royally screwed she is. And punching all of your egos in the balls! FNaF 2 is literally just more bots, more problems. You have double the original cast, and you also have a mangled mess of parts called the Mangle, and you have the puppet, who literally gave life to the animatronics. And let me just say, that is a pretty good feat. And also, the puppet is pretty fast as well. She may not have very many strength feats, but, she's able to, bring life to the animatronics. So, if we're technically speaking, she could bring them back to life if they ever get damaged or totally torn apart. So, technically, the ultimate support character. And Mangle, I don't know about Mangle, honestly. We don't even know this thing's gender, let alone power feats. So maybe Mangle could tangle up M3GAN, and the other animatronics could just wail on her, which would be pretty funny to see. And Balloon Boy is dying, like I've stated before. Springtrap is the only tangible threat in this game, and if we're being real, he's a pretty powerful threat at that. If Dead by Daylight has taught me anything, no, I do not care if it's not canon. Dead by Daylight has taught me that Springtrap is a pretty competent killer. I mean, he's literally the rotting body of a psychopath, so there's that. This man literally danced with Lady Death and left her on the dance floor just to go kill again. That should really tell you something about his survivability. In fact, he comes back later after he's allegedly dead. Again. So yeah, this man's survivability is through the roof, and he's a competent killer, and he could probably tear M3GAN a new one. You are literally putting this doll in a nightmare. She may not understand it, but she will know that she is in a nightmare. Just from looking at these things alone, you can tell that they could probably crush a titanium skeleton. I mean, just look at those sharp teeth. Crunch! The Freddles and the Cupcake are definitely gonna be a problem as well. Limb chomp, limb chomp, limb chomp, limb chomp, head chomp, beat her to a pulp. That's gonna be the strategy here, and she's definitely gonna die. Or you could just throw all of this out of the window because FNaF 4 literally takes place in a nightmare. So, I don't know, you can take it or leave it. It's really your choice. And no, unfortunately, I'm not counting the Halloween DLC, so unfortunately, we can't chomp her and burn her at the same time, although I would love to. Let me just start this off by saying that Circus Baby is technically M3GAN, but with daddy issues. Circus Baby isn't an AI like M3GAN is. She is still a spirit, so there is that edge there. And also, she's bigger. Also, you have the other animatronics that are arguably way crazier than any of the other FNaF games, even William Afton. And if that craziness is pointed in the right direction, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You know, Megan's dead. Again. They also have the scooper. So, more parts for them. Yay! Even if Megan survived all the threats in this game, Afton, the sequel, Circus Baby, the sequel, Funtime Freddy, the sequel, and the puppet is here too. Even if she somehow got through all of it, the pizzeria is a trap. And once everything gets locked down and the fires start going, nothing is going to survive. Not even her. It is the ultimate trap for animatronics. So even if she survived, which I've said before, she's still not surviving because she will burn in the great inferno that should have ended the series. Still a little salty about that, but Secret of the Mimic, it's good. Oh. There's a little secret story in Ultimate Custom Night that explains that this game, this entire game, is the literal hell that the very vengeful spirit of Golden Freddy put William Afton in. And it is literally every single threat, every single thing that Afton made in one place. And if Cassidy, if that's even the real name, decide to give Afton a little break and point their grubby mitts to Megan, she will probably be the first AI to feel true fear. This vengeful spirit is so overpowered that Mr. Old Man Consequences himself told them to chill out before they started something new. Which leads to the glitch trap virus can literally destroy her from the inside out. Enough said. Then Afton has a new body. Moving on. The place where she's most screwed, in my opinion. Monty is a very strong, rageful gator that has feats of tearing down metal doors. Roxy has flipped over go-karts, so she can probably just lift one up and... Chica almost killed a man over literal garbage, and Freddy may be a pacifist in this game, but I promise you that he still has a chance against Megan. Okay, maybe if she duplicated herself, but still. She also might have a chance against the daycare attendant, but, you know, they're not going down easily, so I wouldn't say it would be an easy fight for her. Also, there's DJ Music Man, who is the size of a house. So Megan is literally just a little mosquito to them. There's also an army of staff bots who possibly don't have the strength to take care of her, but there's so many of them that it's really a toss-up at this point. There's also a bunch of weeping angel endoskeletons in the basement who do not move, only to humans staring at them. So they can probably detect that she is a bot, and they will probably tear her to shreds. You know, there seems to be a theme with this one. Gee, I wonder why. Now, as for Vanny, yeah, no, she's probably dead. Now, this game only has one threat, and it's the Mimic. And even though the Mimic looks bare bones, he is absolutely no slouch when it comes to strength, speed, and durability. This thing's main gimmick in the whole game is literally being an ambush predator and disguising itself in some of the empty suits in the warehouse to, you know, jump scare Rar. This thing has also tricked Arnold into getting what it wants in multiple endings, except for one. It can mimic voices and personalities, aka why it's called the Mimic. Go figure. It also runs very fast as soon as it spots someone, aka Arnold, the poor guy. It also has some pretty impressive strength feats by taking over the Tickets Please Big Top Music Man guy and literally tearing the warehouse. But honestly, that's a suit that it takes over, so maybe if the Mimic doesn't have access to him, you know, he might not be able to do all that. But the option is there. Also, throughout the entire game, this thing tricked Arnold, the poor man who is sleep-deprived, into getting a data diver that gives it access to a lot of things, which is very worrying. Also, Arnold's dead. Like, canonically, not after a game over screen. Like, canonically, he's dead. So, in conclusion, for Secret of the Mimic, M3GAN is probably getting torn up like that one mailman bot. Oh man, don't even get me started on FNaF World, because then we're talking about reality-busting feats. But that game is non-canon, so we're not going to get into it. So, none of you, absolutely none of you, can convince me that Little Miss Ego Sass over here can take on the supernatural prowess. I've said it before, I'll say it again, the supernatural prowess of the FNaF crew. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and never challenge my insanity when it comes to this franchise ever again. Okay, I'm gonna go sleepy now. Good night. Ugh.